Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, it's that time again where I happen to do another update video. I was actually looking through when just to see when the last update video was, and it turns out I've been doing these things monthly, which was not my plan or intention at all. But hey, this being a monthly thing, I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. I think it's actually kind of good. Keeps you in the loop. It lets me air out my thoughts and grievances and anything else that I need to lay down on the table. So yeah, this being monthly isn't a bad thing. That being said, this isn't a confirmation that updates are going to be monthly, but I think it's just a happy little coincidence. Anyway, how about we just get straight to the topic at hand, which I want to talk about, and that is the future of this channel, at least for the short term. So, for people who don't know, I've been experimenting a couple of things. Some public, some not so public. The last public one, which is a really obvious one, is that I attempted to do a live stream on the YouTube live streaming service as a change from where I usually live stream, which is Twitch. And my reason for doing this was one that I said in the live stream, which was of Yakuza 3 Remastered, because that was my only chance to play the game before I inevitably do a full playthrough. That's not really a secret at this point. It's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen, so I might as well just put it on the table right now. But yeah, the reason why I did it was because the thought crossed my mind that, hey, most of my audience is on YouTube, so why not just use the YouTube livestream service? It's honestly really that simple. It gets rid of the friction of going to a completely different site and having to create a new account, and I do appreciate the people. There's been some people that have actually created accounts just to follow me, which is nuts, and I really appreciate it when it does happen. So if you have done that, then thank you very much, and even if you haven't done that and you've just stopped by to just take a look, then thank you for that also. I mean, it all helps in the end, and just want to entertain people. That's the reason why I started it. Anyway, regardless, I wanted to try out the YouTube live streaming just to see how much, just to see like how viable it was, I guess, is the best way of putting it, and just honestly to test it out, because it's something that truthfully I've never used before. I always sort of wrote it off because everyone else kind of wrote it off, and I'll be honest, it was just kind of one of those things where people are more comfortable with Twitch, because Twitch is a dedicated live streaming platform, or at least it was when people were talking about it. It does various other things now, and it's obviously a very competitive place, and YouTube, despite all of their problems, which I still have problems with, it seems their live streaming service has actually gotten a lot better. That's one of the things that people have sort of come to the conclusion of, yeah, this is actually getting better, and it's closing the gap a little bit, especially with some of the way that they're dealing with some of their monetization and membership schemes. But anyway, I'll get to that, because that is going to be talked about in this video. So yeah, I gave it a go, and it was a little bit clunky at first, because you had to do this thing where you had to start an event, and it let people, which was a neat idea, because it lets people know when I'm going to start live streaming, but then you had to sort of make sure that you don't accidentally make a separate live stream, because you make the event, but then you have to say the event is actually going to be a live stream, which is a little bit clunky, but I figured it out, and it didn't cause any problems. There was also some encoder stuff, but that's all behind the scenes techno mumbo-jumbo. But yeah, I think it actually went pretty well. Got a lot more people than I was expecting, and they seemed to enjoy it, and it was a very, very unscheduled, very sort of chill, just sort of doing random side quests in Yakuza 3, so it was very, like, hands-off, not very planned, but I think it went pretty well, and that led me to think, where is the best place to go in terms of live streaming, and where should I try to dedicate my time and attention? So obviously I've been doing it on Twitch up until this point, and I don't want to discredit all of the people that have followed me on Twitch, but at the same time there's the obvious, more practical ability to do it on YouTube with, you know, the dedicated audience. That just makes more sense. So it's kind of one of those situations where it's between a rock and a hard place, because either I, you know, completely discredit one and go for the other, so either continue what I've been doing, or switch to YouTube, or I could do both, which would split the viewer base, which is not necessarily the best idea, but for the short-term future, I think that's the best call. And I'm going to try to explain my reasoning. So, for people who don't know, or just haven't followed, currently on Twitch, I have done full playthroughs of various games, and the ones that are going on right now are Way of the Samurai 4 and Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. And those are currently still going on. And what I think I want to do is, whenever I do a one-off game, or a game where I'm only going to cover it once, I'm going to do it on YouTube. And for the full playthroughs that are currently going on, I'm going to keep it on Twitch. So that will give people time on Twitch to get the stuff that they have subscribed for, because I do have subscribers, and I don't want to just suddenly bail. I don't want to be just like, hey, thanks for the subscription, and then just bail to a completely different platform, because that's just not fair. That is absolutely not fair, and I don't agree with that. So, for the short term, keep in mind that this isn't, like, 100% planned for the future. For the short term, I'm going to focus on the main playthroughs on Twitch that I'm currently doing, and do them to their completion. And then for YouTube, I'm going to do the one-offs. I'm going to do the like various games that I would like cover only once, and then, not to say I would never touch them again, but yeah, then the archive will go up on YouTube, and hopefully it won't cause any problems. Keyword being hope. So how does this tie into the thing that I said before with I want to put full stream archives on Twitch? That's going to continue. I still have the archive footage for FF15, which I can download, and it's just going to be a case of like uploading it all at once, which is going to take a while, but I have the footage, so I might as well do it. And same for Way of the Samurai, which I've already started doing, because thankfully there's only 2 sessions of that so far, so that's way more manageable. And from there on, it's pretty much going to be sort of just testing the waters still. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is still something that I'm trying to figure out. Like, this is still a work in progress, and I want to make that perfectly clear. I'm not going to lie and say, yo, yes, I've got this all figured out. We're going to do this, and everyone's going to be super happy. I'm still trying to figure it out. And that could be a terrible thing, because maybe sometimes you're supposed to have a plan in place before. And that's perfectly viable. Like, I would not blame someone if they went, man, this guy seems like he doesn't have a clue what he's doing. I'm not saying I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but, it's not as, clear-cut as where I would want it to be. So I'm just trying to figure out where the best... Honestly, I'm just trying to figure out where the best, middle ground lies. I want people to be able to watch my stuff and, talk to me and do whatever they want and enjoy my content as easily as possible. And at the same time, I want to be able to, do what I want to do and continue doing it with, hopefully, support, whether it be from, kind people who offer donations, or being able to do my thing with as less stress as possible while editing and, doing all of this other stuff on the outside, which you don't see. It's trying to find that nice compromise. And it's going to be a process, because YouTube right now is an interesting ground to try and make your stuff known. And I've done a pretty decent job, you know. I think I'm very happy. I've mentioned this before plenty of times, but I'll say it one more time. I'm happy with where I've gotten to so far. So now I just want to be able to make it grow. I want to be able to, you know, encourage more people and different types of content. So, that being said, full playthroughs and, like, LP-style videos, you know, those ain't going nowhere. Probably shouldn't have done 3 at once, as I've started doing. That was probably a bad idea, in all honesty, but I'm gonna see them through to their end. Tales of Gracie's F, Metal Wolf Chaos, and Judgment, all gonna be seen through to the end. No doubt about that. That being said, afterwards, I'm probably going to try my damnedest only to stick with one. It's honestly just, it's always been a bad habit of mine. I always want to cover too many games at once, and that was the whole point of streaming to start out with, in all honesty. It was so I could just do bulk, like, playthroughs of, like, yeah, I could play this game for hours, and obviously there's real-life stuff which has gotten away with that. And to be honest, it's going to continue getting away for a little bit until things have settled down and I'm able to just do my own thing without any outside interference. But you know, whatever, you don't care about that. But for the short-term future, LP videos are, you know, absolutely here to stay. They're not going anywhere. But I do want to start doing new types of videos, or at least put the idea on the table. So, to that end, I've been thinking about this, and you guys will have to sound off in the comments whether you think this would be something that you would like, or if my idea behind this is absolutely crazy. But the way I see it and feel it, the YouTube viewer doesn't care as much for stream archive content. And what I mean by that is, before I have uploaded my archives to YouTube, and I feel like for the average YouTube viewer, having a 4-hour bulk, like, archive video to watch isn't as wanted as something that's edited down. I mean, that's okay, that's one of those things where, overall, yeah, that is the truth. Like, people on YouTube want, faster viewing stuff, like, overall. But, in terms of my own audience, I'm not entirely sure. Which is why I want to just straight up ask the question, what would you guys prefer? Would you prefer, edited down content, or would you prefer, stream archive? And I mean this specifically for my streams. Not so much, for my LP style stuff, I'll be doing that the same way I've always done it. I think I've got a happy medium. And I'll just, keep on doing what I'm doing in that regard. But for stream content, I honestly don't know. I've seen a mix of both on YouTube from various people that I like watching. So, I'm just curious at this point, and this is another one of those things that I wanted to experiment with. Because obviously with live streaming on YouTube, once the live stream is done, it just has the archive right there, and people can watch it, which I think is a good thing, because obviously that takes out the stress of, like, or like the time needed to, like, upload it yourself, and I think that's a good thing. But I'm curious if people, say for a one-off video, so if I had, so like for example, on Twitch I recently did Astral Chain, which ended up being 4 hours long, but if I were to edit that down into like a 20-minute video, the whole stream, or if I were to take that one stream and then like chop it up into 30-minute bits with like editing down, similar to sort of like how I do an LP video, I don't know. Maybe people aren't interested in that, or maybe you are interested in that. I honestly don't know, and that's why I'm asking the question. Because I'm okay with asking these questions. Like, I do have a solid idea of what I want to do, and how I want my content to be perceived and uploaded, but I'm still open to suggestions, you know. And I think that's a good thing. I feel like I got a good vision that is a good bare bones vision. I just need to build it up and detail it out, and that's pretty much where the channel's going to go for the next, like, that's what's going to happen with this channel for the next few months or so. It's like a reflection of my actual life at the moment, since I finished uni and I'm still trying to figure things out. It's honestly kind of, it's weirdly poetic in that way. It's sort of one-to-one. I'm trying to figure out the channel and where to go in its direction, and even though I got an idea of where I want to go in its direction, the same way that I got a good idea of where I want to go direction in my life, but I'm still trying to figure it out. There's actually a lot of parallels there. That's kind of weird. But, yeah. That's pretty much going to be it for that. So, I guess I should finally actually move on to the next part, which is kind of in relation to these changes. And that is, I have enabled memberships on my channel. So, for people who don't know what a membership is, you've probably seen it before at the bottom of the channel page, or talked about on YouTube. Membership is basically the YouTube version of a Twitch subscription or a Patreon. It's sort of a mix between the two. So you would pay a fee to me every month, and you would get perks, and you would support the channel, and that would be on top of all of the other stuff, of course, like adverts. But it's basically just another way to support me if you want to support me. Again, this is entirely optional. Don't think that you have to. Of course, it's appreciated, and I thank anyone who does it. That's actually one of the perks that I put in. Every single person that supports me will get a shout out at the end of, at the start of these update videos, and every time I do a live stream. So yeah, you would get a personal thank you from me, and that's actually maybe one of the reasons why this could be a monthly thing. Have a live chat. Would be kind of cool. Anyway, but yeah, and again, that's still being worked on. It's all subject to change, pricing, the things that I offer, and all of that stuff. So yeah, I do have some trial run stuff. I got some like emotes that I have ready. I'm not going to use my Twitch emotes because I don't feel like that's fair to the people that have paid for them, and I want to sort of wait before adding them into the YouTube membership. I have other emotes, which are primarily ones that I also use on Discord, so you'll be able to start using that in the live chat and stuff. And I feel like they're pretty cute. I got Lurking Yusuke and Motivated Virgil, which was given. Motivated Virgil was actually done by artists who gave permission to people to use it for Twitch chat stuff. So don't worry, that's all good. And Lurking Yusuke was done as a commission for me, so. And I asked the artist again if I was allowed to use it as an emotes, and he said okay, which is really cool. But yeah, so I also made the prices for membership pretty low, because I'm still in the testing, and I don't think it's fair to ask for too much from people yet. In fact, one of them I still think is a little bit too high, so I'll probably lower it down, but I'll wait for feedback on that first before committing to anything. But yeah, if any of you guys have any ideas for what you would like for quote-unquote exclusive content, if you would be interested in like editing live streams or bloopers and outtakes, you know, all of that stuff, then again, feel free to message, and also tell me directly on the Discord, which there'll be a link in the description for the invite link, because I do hang out there and I do interact with people there, and the people there are lovely, and they actually speak quite a bit, which I'm actually happy about. I'm glad it's being used. So that's definitely a good thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So apologies if people think that this is a little bit rambly, but if you know my update videos, that's nothing new. Probably not a good idea. Probably should keep them a bit more structured because it's an update. but I always try to keep the information as clear and concise as possible, and I think I do a pretty decent job in that regard. Anyway, that's going to be it for this update, so keep on looking out for all of the regular stuff, but also all the new stuff. And again, please give me feedback on stuff you guys want, because if you don't, I have to make assumptions, and obviously I don't want to upset anyone or, like, piss anyone off, and at the same time I don't want to do anything that's, like, bad for me or for you, so let's make this a mutual partnership, you know? But yeah, until next time, see you guys then.